Just like empires, European leagues rise and fall. During the 90s, it was the Italian league, Serie A, that reigned supreme. In the 2010s, it was Laliga and the Premier League going head to head, battling to earn the top spot. But in recent years, Laliga has failed to compete with the Premier League. Thus, they have fallen behind. But times are changing, as this season is their chance to come back to become the beacon of European football. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to explain why you should jump on the wave and watch La Liga next season. In recent years, Barcelona haven't been able to recreate the success of their glory days. The Catalans had a good 10-year stretch from 2009 to 2019 in which they ruled supreme, winning 3 Champions Leagues, 7 La Liga titles and 5 Copa del Reys. Whether it was MSN or their iconic midfield trio, the mere mention of Barcelona having to play your team struck fear in opponents' hearts. It was throughout this golden era at the Camp Nou that Barcelona and Pep had managed to complete football by winning every competition they were in. They won 6 trophies in 1 year. 6. A sextuple. Now I could go on for days explaining how absurd that is, but let's just save that for another video. Like I said at the start, Barcelona are in a completely different state than they were back then. Since Messi's departure from the club, they haven't really been able to recover. And the loss of Messi was further exacerbated by the mismanagement of finances by the club that has placed them in the ditch they find themselves in today. But tough times at Barcelona seem to be coming to an end, and it's all thanks to one man. Can I even call him a man? He's younger than me. But the second coming of Messi, Lamine Yamal, just showed everyone at the Euros that he's ready to become the face of this new Barcelona side for years to come. Despite him being more similar to Neymar's playstyle rather than Messi's, he undoubtedly has the talent that he needs to become the greatest of all time. And I'm not joking.
Why are you laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious.
I know this is a crazy shout early into his career, but let me ask you a question. Have we ever seen this before? He just turned 17 a month ago and already has an international trophy under his belt. Now I'm going to give you 5 seconds to name a footballer that's already done that. You can't. But as we all know, one man just won't be enough to fix all of Barcelona's problems. Which is why I believe the signing of Dani Olmo is just what Barcelona needed. The return of the former La Masia prospect, now 26-year-old Olmo, provides Barcelona with the ability to break down teams in the final third with his excellent technique. He also possesses an eye for goal, which will hopefully take the heavy load off the 35-year-old Lewandowski, as despite his age, he's still putting up ridiculous numbers. Speaking of goals, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here. Barcelona have signed a new striker from Girona called Pau Victor, and in their pre-season games, he's played every single one, which honestly just doesn't make any sense for me. Now hear me out. Just last January, Barcelona signed 19-year-old Victor Roque, and he was brought in to rival the signing of Endrick at Real Madrid. But since then, he's been done absolutely dirty by the club, as Victor Roque hasn't even played a full 90 in a Barca shirt. I mean, I don't know what's gone on off the pitch with former manager Xavi, but if the hopes were for Victor Roque to be Barca's next number 9, surely he should be getting more playtime. But yeah, let's just get back to Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo is a terrific number 10 and he showed that at the Euros, and I believe he will start for most teams in the world. But there is one thing I fear by his game. Just last season, the £51 million man sat out for 111 days, making him miss out on 29 matches due to a variety of injuries. I believe he'll be a vital piece of the puzzle for Barcelona, and these injuries could halt Barca's chances of being competitive again. Additionally, the arrival of Dani Olmo could halt the progression of 21-year-old youngster Fermin Lopez. Now I know Olympic football ain't serious and shouldn't be brought up as evidence in football discussions, as it's only under 23s, but Fermin Lopez just won the Olympics, scoring a brace in the final and was the highest goal scorer of the entire Olympics despite him being a midfielder. Not only that, Lopez had a great season for Barca last year, coming off the bench and managed to grab 10 goals across all competitions. But I believe this was meant to be his breakout season, in which he shows that he's here to start in the first 11. But I just don't think there's space for him anymore. Nevertheless, the midfield three of Olmo, De Jong and former Golden Boy winner Pedri have got enough talent to be the top 3 midfielders in the world. Additionally, next season for Barcelona will be particularly interesting, as they finally gotten rid of their bum manager Xavi and brought in a proven winner in Hansi Flick. Remember how before I mentioned, in 2011, Barcelona won 6 trophies in one season, the sextuple? Only one other team has managed to accomplish this feat of great magnitude, and that was a 2020 Bayern Munich team. And you'll never guess who managed that team, Hansi Flick. If he isn't able to get Barcelona back to winning ways, then I honestly don't know what else they can do. All in all, Barcelona's team is far from perfect, and it will be tough. But if all things go right next season, Barcelona could potentially knock Real Madrid off their throne. Speaking of Real Madrid, that leads me to my next point. Now we all know what Real Madrid's on. They are winners in every sense of the word. If they aren't able to win, they'll buy some players that will get them the win. But this time, they may have taken things too far by bringing in the best player in the world, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But the question is for Real Madrid, where does Mbappe play? Looking at Mbappe's career, from start till now, it's obvious that he likes to play on the left. At Monaco, he played as the left striker in a partnership with Radamel Falcao, who is an out-and-out 9. At PSG, he started with Cavani up top, and then once Cavani had left, he was accompanied by Icardi. Then once he left, Messi came in to play his false 9 position, and Mbappe stayed out wide. Even for France, it's Giroud that's the striker, and Mbappe that's out wide. I believe Mbappe's tendency to just drift out to the left just simply will not work at Madrid, as Madrid play with real wingers like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. What are real wingers, you ask? A real winger is a wide player whose sole concern is to take on his defender and create chances. None of this Jack Grealish slow it down and pass it backwards nonsense. Just straight out driving towards goal. Now if you were to look at a heat map of a real winger like Vinny and compare it to Mbappe, there's a clear overlap, leading to both of the players clashing and taking up each other's space. But how this will play out, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't think Ancelotti knows either. See, Real Madrid have been in a similar situation before. Back in the summer of 2003, it was announced that David Beckham would join Real Madrid. See, David Beckham was a right-sided midfielder, but Real Madrid already had an elite player in that position, a former Ballon d'Or winner, Luis Figo. As a result, Figo had to give up his favoured spot at right mid to accommodate for Beckham. Luckily for Real Madrid, this position swap had minimal impact on the team's performance. But this time around, who knows? Mbappe could severely reduce Vinny's output, and Vinny's game could take a massive blow, as he's usually double teamed, but with Mbappe now occupying that space, it reduces the space even further, making it tighter and harder for Vinny to work. But who knows, we're just going to have to wait and see. Another problem Real Madrid have to deal with is the fact that they brought in an 18-year-old striker in Endrick, who's touted to be one of the greatest in the next generation. But honestly for me, I just don't see him getting any time or space on the pitch. He faces the same question that Mbappe faces. Where does he play? He could be a signing for the future, as in, I believe he'll ride the bench for some time before being slowly eased in to the Real Madrid squad. But I fear that he might just not get any consistent playing time, which could take a toll on his game and have him never reach his full potential. I hope that doesn't happen, as I'm a fan of Endrick, but I believe Mbappe's route to Real Madrid makes no sense for Endrick. So how will Real Madrid deal with all these star players that all need game time? Lord knows. Atletico Madrid is one of Spain's big 3, but in all reality, they are kinda third. They've always been third, but have consistently provided fierce competition, especially in an era of Messi and Ronaldo. This period of success and competition was spearheaded by elite players of the past, like Falcao, Griezmann, Diego Costa and Godin. But now isn't then, and the team has changed drastically. But one thing hasn't changed about Atletico Madrid, and that's the manager, Diego Simeone. The eccentric Simeone is formidable for his team's defending. See, Atletico defend with a low block, with all of their players behind the ball, and they get forward using quick and effective counter-attacks. It's this system that allowed them to get to 2 Champions League finals and win a Laliga in the past 10 years. Atletico spurged in the transfer window, spending a total of around £170 million. The signings included players like Conor Gallagher, Alexander Sorloth, Lenormand, and the marquee signing, Julian Alvarez. Now let's quickly break down each one of these. First of all, we got the centre-back Robin Lenormand from Real Sociedad. Lenormand is a solid centre-back that featured in 6 out of the 7 games for Spain at the Euros. The 6'2" speedy centre-back will fit perfectly into Diego Simeone's team, alongside Jimenez shoring up the back line. Next up is Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher has struggled during his time at Chelsea, but truthfully, who has done well at Chelsea over the past few years, apart from Cole Palmer? Regardless of his recent form, Gallagher has shown that during his time at Palace a few years ago, he has the technical ability to influence games, whether that be his chance creation or his long-range screamers. Gallagher is also a workhorse that can get up and down the pitch, which is reflected in his stats, as he had the most interceptions, tackles, chances created, possession won, and distant cover. All these stats perfectly suit Atletico's counter-attacking style of play. And now moving on to the strikers. Atletico Madrid let go of their star striker Morata that has scored 15 in the league last season for them. But they've made 2 class replacements in Alexander Sorloth and Julian Alvarez. Sorloth is a bagsman and managed to outscore Morata last season in the league by getting 23 goals in 34 appearances. And on the other hand is Alvarez, whose goals and performances were overshadowed by his cyborg of a teammate, Haaland, but still managed to show his goal scoring ability in crucial games. I believe Simeone will utilise these two similarly to how he did years ago with Griezmann and Torres. Griezmann would essentially play as a second striker due to being more skillful and creative, with Fernand Torres being the target man. With this formula, Atleti, in this case the 6'5" Norwegian unit, Sorloth would be the out and out striker, Torres, and Alvarez would be the more creative and deeper playing striker, the Griezmann. With all these pieces coming together for Atletico, I believe they have a strong chance of pushing Barca and Real Madrid for the title. Now lastly is the dark horses, Girona. Last season we all know what they managed to accomplish, but for those who don't, let me give you a quick brief explanation. Coming into last season, Girona had only been in the league for 4 seasons in their history, and their highest ever finish was 10th. So coming into last season, they weren't predicted to do much, but somehow, someway, they managed to finish 3rd. It was a momentous feat that no one thought they'd be able to achieve, but since then, like every smaller club that has a standout season, they've pretty much lost all their key players. They've lost the top goal scorer of La Liga last season, Artem Dovbyk, to Roma. They've lost an experienced midfielder in Alex Garcia. They lost their flary winger Savinho to Man City, and their low centre back from Barca, Eric Garcia. And despite all these losses, I don't believe they've done enough in terms of bringing in adequate replacements. For example, Girona's replacement for their star striker was Abel Ruiz.
Who?
Mr. Abel Ruiz recently played in the Olympics, scoring only 1 goal, and at club level, he has never gotten double digits in a season. Another example of a downgrade is bringing in Donny van de Beek to replace their midfield maestro Alex Garcia. Donny van de Beek in 2024 stinks. The man hasn't played a full 90 since 2021.
Brother,
But hey, what do I know? Lightning might strike twice for Girona. But at the end of the day, you make the decision to watch what you want to watch. But why watch the same movie over and over again? We all know as long as Pep is the City manager, City will win the league, no questions asked. It doesn't matter what we try to throw at him, whether it's Liverpool, Arsenal, United, it does not matter. It will never be enough. And we all know there will be one not so great team that has an incredible season and beats everyone's expectations. Last year it was Villa, the year before it was Brighton, and the year before that it was West Ham. The Premier League script never changes, and there's nothing me and you can do about it. So why not just give La Liga a try? And if after all that I still haven't been able to persuade you to watch La Liga this season, have fun watching Pep and City bully a team and win the league for the 100th time. By the way, I'd just like to say there's no ad for La Liga, but La Liga, shout me.